Hello, my name is Guy and welcome to the series of 6 to 7 minute vlogs on the subject of what it looks like to be a follower of Jesus. Now, whether you identify yourself with words like to be a follower of Jesus or to be a man or woman of faith or a Christian or whatever words you choose to use, or whether you're not at all sure about what you believe, or whether you're absolutely sure you believe in absolutely nothing, it's all fine. It's simply great to have you along listening, and my hope is that you find something in what I say that is of help to you as you navigate your way through life. Now, I guess the start point for this is when you or I move from that moment when we know about Jesus to when we move to know him. And the essential facts about Jesus are that he said he is the Son of God and he came to live in this world just like you, just like me. He was raised in a family, in a village community. He learned a trade, and then he came to a point when he set out to do the work that his Father, God, his Father called him to do. And at that point, we get to understand, or we get to recognize that this is not about what I have done or you have done. It's not about who I am or who I'm not. It's about what Jesus has done for me, and that in the way he lived his life and in the way he chose to die, that everything changes. And that essentially there are two things that he asks us, or he lets us know throughout his life, which is firstly, he loves us. He loves me and he loves you, period. Doesn't matter what you've done. Doesn't matter what you haven't done. It doesn't matter what you've said or what you haven't said. He loves us. He loves me and he loves you personally. And secondly, he accepts us. He accepts me and he accepts you. He meets us where we're at. That's the essential start point for when we then move on to look at what it looks like to be a follower of Jesus. Now, there is this thing though, that if we choose simply to look at the moment when you or I might say, I want to know you, we have to be careful, because if we look at that moment and then somehow believe that we have received at that moment some injection or infusion of wisdom and knowledge and strength, whether it's physical strength, mental strength, spiritual strength, to step out and navigate our way through life, that would be a strategy that's not designed for success. And if we think about it, the logic of what I've just said and the logic of our own experience when we look around at everyday life is that can't be a strategy for success. Because, for example, whoever your heroes in life might be, whatever the things that you love to follow and inspire you, it may be sport, it may be music, it may be the arts, it may be the world of education, it may be whatever it looks like. When you look at the great practitioners of whatever it is you're passionate about, for me, I've always wanted to be a great sprinter. The problem is, it's just that I'm not a great sprinter. But never mind that. When I look at Usain Bolt, and when I look at the moment when he runs the 100 metres in under 9.6 seconds, and he's the fastest man that's ever run that distance, if I look at the moment and then decide, Guy, you're going to go out and now you're just going to run. You're going to be like Usain Bolt. You're going to run fast. You're going to run faster than everybody else. If I simply look at the moment of what Usain Bolt does and then I go out and I decide to run fast, it's not a strategy for success, because I have to look at the complete life of the athlete. I have to look at Usain Bolt, the trainer, what happens before the moment of performance, what happens with the diet, the mental conditioning, the physical training, the hard power work, the stamina work, the technique, the coaching, the taking on of advice, the mental preparation. Yes, of course, I look at the moment, but then I must look at what happens after the moment of performance, as I think and review, as I gain an experience, as I overcome my failures and I get up and I go again. I have to look at the complete life of the athlete to enter into what it looks like to be a brilliant practitioner at whatever it is, sprinting or anything else. And it's no different from being a follower of Jesus. And in fact, Jesus talks about this, because if you find the fourth book of the New Testament in the Bible, the book written by John. John, one of the followers of Jesus who lived with him and followed him and travelled with him, and he recorded much of what Jesus said. And in the 15th chapter of the book of John, John records when Jesus talks about to experience what it is to be a follower of Jesus. He talks about how Jesus is like a vine, and you need to be attached to the vine. The branches draw from the main stem, and you need to be constantly attached to draw from the vine. And if we think about a vine, I'm not a great gardener or horticulturist, but vines invariably, mostly they follow a sort of trellis. They attach themselves and they follow the trellis, and then they grow. As they stay attached to that, they grow strong and they reach their potential, and then the branches can grow out strong from that. And Jesus sort of says, you need to learn from that, because you need to stay attached to me and you need to draw from me. And essentially what we're going to be looking at in these vlogs is looking at, well, how do we stay attached to Jesus? How do we build following Jesus into the daily rhythms and practices of our lives? Because we have a wee bit of a challenge, or we have to remember something really significant, that to follow Jesus, Jesus needs to fit into our schedules. So like staying attached to the vine, what we're going to be looking at in the vlogs that follow this is, what are the daily practices or the regular practices that we need to build into our schedules of life to draw from Jesus and to understand what he's got for us in our lives? We got to the start point. Until the next time, bye for now.